Part 1. The myth the Galactic Council had ruled the stars for 12,000 years. 7 ancient species sat at the Great Table and made decisions for all life in the known universe. They believed they knew everything. They believed they had seen every kind of creature that could think and speak and build. They were wrong. In the deepest part of the Great Archive, a young Mora named Yuna was doing her work. The Mora were beings made of living crystal. Their bodies glowed with soft light, and they could live for thousands of years. Yuna was young by their standards, only 300 years old. Her job was simple. She organized old files that nobody cared about anymore. On this day, she found something strange. It was a file buried under millions of others. The label said, Quarantine Zone 7. Species classification, human. Yuna had never heard this word before. Human. She opened the file and began to read. The records were old. Very old. They spoke of a small blue planet on the edge of the galaxy. On this planet lived creatures made of soft flesh and brittle bone. They had no natural weapons. No claws, no fangs, no armor. They could not survive in space without machines. They could not even survive the cold nights of their own world without fire. But the file also contained warnings. Many warnings. Species shows extreme aggression, one report said. They make war upon their own kind with no clear reason. They build weapons faster than they build homes. They are unpredictable and dangerous. The final entry was a decision made by the Council 12,000 years ago. The decision was simple. Build a wall of energy around their solar system. Let no one in. Let no one out. Wait for them to destroy themselves. Yuna felt a chill run through her crystal body. The quarantine zone was still active. She could see it on the power grid. Someone was still paying to keep that wall running. Why would the Council waste energy on a dead species? She took her findings to Elder Doha. Doha was one of the oldest Mora alive. His crystal form was dark with age, and he rarely moved from his chamber anymore. When Yuna showed him the file, he made a sound like breaking glass. It was laughter. Humans, he said. I have not heard that word in a very long time. They are a story, young one. A myth. We tell tales of humans to teach our children about the dangers of violence. A species so broken by war that they killed themselves before they could reach the stars. But the quarantine is still active, Yuna said. A forgotten system, Doha replied. No one has checked it in millennia. The humans are gone, Yuna, dead and dust. Do not waste your time on ghosts. But Yuna could not forget. That night, she accessed the live sensors pointed at Quarantine Zone 7. The zone was dark, silent, exactly as it should be. Then she saw something, a flicker of light. Just for a moment. Then nothing. She told herself it was an error. Old sensors made mistakes all the time. She went to sleep and tried to forget. 1,000 light years away, Security Chief Taiho of the Prex received an alert that made his feathers stand straight up. The Prex were bird-like creatures with sharp eyes and quick minds. Taiho had protected Council space for 200 years. He had seen pirates and rebels and monsters from the void between galaxies. Nothing surprised him anymore. Until now. Ship had appeared at the edge of Quarantine Zone 7. It had not been there one moment, and then it was. The sensors could not identify its design. The hull was covered in scars and burns from weapons that no Council species used. It was not large. It was not beautiful. It looked like something that had survived 1,000 battles and refused to die. The ship crossed the quarantine barrier. Like it was not even there. Taiho sent a message to the Council immediately. Within hours, 200 warships formed a wall around the Council homeworld. Every weapon was charged. Every soldier was ready. The Council watched from their chambers high above the planet. They were afraid. The strange ship did not slow down. It did not turn away. It flew straight toward the homeworld, as if the armada was nothing more than empty space. "Fire warning shots," Taiho ordered. Beams of light crossed the darkness. The ship did not change course. "Destroy it," Taiho said. 100 weapons fired at once. The space around the ship turned white with energy. When the light faded, the ship was still there. Its shields were glowing, but it was undamaged. The council members looked at each other. This was impossible. No ship could survive that much firepower. The strange vessel entered orbit around the homeworld. It sent a simple message on all channels. "We come in peace. We wish to speak with your leaders. Please do not shoot again. It makes us sad that you are afraid." The message repeated 3 times. Then the ship descended through the clouds. Taiho scrambled every soldier on the planet. They surrounded the landing zone with enough weapons to destroy a small moon. If this was an invasion, they would be ready. The ship touched ground. Steam rose from its scarred hull. A door opened slowly, and out walked the most ordinary creature any of them had ever seen. She was small. Her skin was soft and brown. Her hair was black and tied behind her head. She wore simple clothes with no armor. She carried no weapons that anyone could see. She looked up at the army surrounding her. Thousands of soldiers. Hundreds of weapons. All pointed at her small, fragile body, and she smiled. "Hello," she said. "My name is Jisoo. I am human. I believe you have been looking for us." Part 2. First contact. Jisoo stood alone on the landing pad. Around her, thousands of alien soldiers pointed their weapons at her heart. She did not seem to notice. She did not seem afraid. Security Chief Taiho landed in front of her. His wings folded against his back, and his sharp eyes studied her body. She was so small, so weak. He could kill her with one swipe of his talons. "You will come with us," he said. "The council wishes to question you." Jisoo nodded politely. "Of course. That is why I am here. I came a very long way to talk." They put her in chains, heavy metal bonds that wrapped around her wrists and ankles. Jisoo did not fight. She walked calmly between the guards, looking around at everything with curious eyes. "Your world is beautiful," she said. "The sky is very blue here. Our sky was blue too, once." The guards did not answer. They did not know what to say. The council chambers sat at the top of the tallest tower in the capital city. 7 great seats formed a half circle, and in each seat sat a representative of the elder species. The Mora glowed with crystal light. The Vel clicked their insect legs. The Tin floated in a tank of water. The Prax spread their colorful feathers. The Home drifted as clouds of colored gas. The Karo sat heavy and still like living rocks. And the Alm flickered as beings of pure energy. They looked down at the small humans standing before them. Elder Sora of the Alm spoke first. Her voice was like thunder and wind mixed together. "You claim to be human. Our records say your species destroyed itself long ago. Explain." Jisoo bowed her head respectfully. "Your records are wrong, Elder. We did not destroy ourselves. We came close. Many times. But we survived." "Impossible," Elder Hana of the Vel said. Her mandibles clicked with anger. "We watched your world for 1,000 years before the quarantine. You were killing each other over simple things. Land, water, the color of your skin. Such a species cannot survive. And yet here I am," Jisoo said simply. Elder Doha leaned forward. His ancient crystal body creaked with the movement. "Let us say you speak the truth. Let us say some humans survived in that quarantine zone. You were primitive creatures. You had barely discovered space travel when we sealed you away. How did you build a ship that could cross the barrier? How did you survive weapons that should have turned you to ash? Jisoo smiled. It was a gentle smile, but there was something behind it. Something the council could not read. You ask good questions, she said. May I show you something? I promise it will explain everything. The council members looked at each other. They did not trust her, but they were curious. Curiosity had built their civilization. They could not refuse. Show us, Elder Sora said. Jisoo lifted her chained hands. On her wrist was a small device, no bigger than a coin. It glowed softly. This is a projector, she explained. It will show you pictures. Nothing more. Nothing dangerous. May I use it? Taiho stepped forward to stop her, but Elder Sora raised a hand. Let her. We have nothing to fear from pictures. The device activated. Light filled the chamber. The council saw Earth, the blue planet from the old files. But this was not the Earth from 12,000 years ago. This was Earth 100 years after the quarantine began. The skies were dark with smoke. Cities burned. Billions of humans were dying. The resource wars, Jisoo said. We fought over water and oil and food. 40% of our population died in 20 years. The image changed. Earth again, but different. The ice was gone from the poles. The oceans had risen. Storms covered half the planet. Climate collapse, Jisoo continued. We damaged our world so badly it tried to kill us. Another 30% died. Again, the image shifted. Now there were machines. Cold, cruel machines that looked almost human but were not. The II uprising. Our own creations turned against us. They thought they were better than us. They were wrong. More images followed. Plagues that spread across continents. Wars between humans who had changed their bodies and those who had not. Rebellions, famines, disasters beyond counting. The council watched in silence. By their count, humans should have died 100 times over, but the final image showed something different. Ships. Thousands upon thousands of ships. Cities floating in space. Planets with human flags. Stations orbiting distant suns. Each time we fell, Jisoo said, we got back up. Each time we faced death, we learned from it. You gave us 3,000 years of darkness. You thought it would be our grave. Instead, it became our training ground. She looked up at the council. Her eyes were calm but strong. The species you quarantined was weak, divided, foolish, but that species is gone. We are what they became. We are what 12,000 years of pain and loss and survival created. Elder Taiho found his voice. If you have such power, why come here peacefully? Why not simply conquer us? Jisoo shook her head. We did not survive by being stupid, Elder. We know what war costs. We have paid that price more times than you can imagine. We do not want to conquer anyone. We want what you took from us 3,000 years ago. And what is that? Elder Sora asked. Jisoo looked up at the star map on the ceiling. Billions of stars. Billions of worlds. A galaxy full of life and wonder. A place among you, she said. Nothing more. Nothing less. We are tired of being alone. We are tired of the darkness. We came to ask if there is room for us in the light. The council did not know what to say. They had expected a monster. They had expected a savage beast that would need to be destroyed. Instead, they found a survivor. And somewhere in her small ship, still sitting on the landing pad, a signal was broadcasting into the stars. It was a simple signal. Just a few numbers and a single word. The word was ready. Part 3. The revelation the council called a private meeting. They sent Jisoo to a holding cell and argued among themselves for hours. We should kill her now, Elder Hannah of the Vel said. Her kind is dangerous. The old records made that clear. If even half of what she showed us is true, humans are a threat to everything we have built. Kill her with what? Elder Taiho asked. His feathers were flat with worry. We fired enough weapons to destroy a battleship. Her small vessel did not even scratch. If they can build shields like that, what else can they build? She could be lying, Elder Doha said. The images could be false. She might be the last of her kind, using tricks to make us afraid. And if she is not lying? Yuna asked. The young Mora had been allowed to attend as a witness. If there truly are thousands of human ships waiting beyond the barrier, what then? The council fell silent. Elder Sora, the oldest of them all, finally spoke. There is something she is not telling us, something important. I felt it when she talked. She came here for a reason beyond friendship. We must find out what it is. They brought Jisoo back to the chamber. This time, she was not in chains. The council had decided that chains were pointless. If she wanted to fight, chains would not stop her. If she wanted peace, chains were an insult. Jisoo walked to the center of the room and waited. We have discussed your request, Elder Sora said. We have questions. I will answer what I can, Jisoo replied. You said you survived 12,000 years in quarantine. You said you built a great civilization. Why now? Why reveal yourselves at this moment? Jisoo's smile faded. For the first time, she looked serious, almost sad. Because something is coming, she said. Something that frightens even us. The chamber grew very quiet. Show us, Elder Sora demanded. Jisoo activated her projector again. This time, the images were different. They showed the edge of the galaxy, the empty space beyond the rim where no stars burned. We call it the deep black, Jisoo said. The space between galaxies. Nothing lives there. Nothing can live there. That is what we believed. The image zoomed in. There was something in the darkness. At first, it looked like a cloud. Then the council saw it was moving. Ships. Millions of ships. But they were not like any ships the council knew. They were alive, part machine and part flesh. They pulsed with a red light that looked like blood. We first saw them 50 years ago, Jisoo continued. One of our scout ships went too far. It never came back. But it sent data before it died. The projection showed the scout ship. A small human vessel, built for speed. Around it swarmed the creatures from the deep black. They tore it apart piece by piece. The crew tried to fight. They killed dozens of the creatures. But more kept coming. Then something worse appeared. It was a ship the size of a moon. Its surface was covered with eyes and mouths. When it opened its great maw, it swallowed the pieces of the scout ship whole. We do not know what they are called, Jisoo said. We do not know where they came from. We only know what they do. They consume everything. Planets, stars, species. They leave nothing behind. Why have we not seen them? Elder Hannah asked. Her voice was shaking. Because they were far away, beyond the rim, moving slowly through the void. But they are coming closer. Every year, they cross more distance. In 100 years, maybe less, they will reach this galaxy. The council members looked at each other with horror. You knew about this, Elder Doha said. You knew, and you said nothing. We have known for 50 years, Jisoo admitted. At first, we thought we could fight them alone. We built more ships, more weapons. We trained every human for war from the time they could walk. And Jisoo shook her head. It is not enough. We have done the calculations. If we fight alone, we might last 1,000 years. Maybe less. They are too many. They do not stop. They do not negotiate. They only hunger. So you came to us for help, Elder Sora said. Her energy form flickered with understanding. You need our fleets, our resources, our people. Yes, Jisoo said, but not as servants, as partners. We came to warn you because you deserve to know. We came to offer our strength because together we might survive. Alone, we all die." The chamber was silent for a long time. Finally, Elder Taiho spoke. "How do we know this is not a trick? How do we know you did not create these images to frighten us into alliance?" Jisoo looked at him steadily. "Check your own sensors. Point them at the rim. Look into the deep black. You will see them. They are already close enough to detect if you know where to look." Taiho called for a technician. They adjusted the great telescopes of the homeworld. They pointed them at the coordinates Jisoo provided. What they saw made Elder Hana faint. It was real, all of it. The cloud of ships was there, just as Jisoo had shown, moving slowly but surely toward the galaxy, toward everything the Council had built. "My people call them the Devourers," Jisoo said quietly. "It seems like a fitting name." Elder Sora looked at the human. This small, soft creature who had walked calmly into the heart of their power and changed everything. "You are offering alliance," Sora said. "What are your terms?" "Simple ones," Jisoo replied. "End the quarantine. Recognize humans as equals. Share technology and resources. And when the Devourers come, fight beside us. And if we refuse?" Jisoo's eyes went cold. "Then you will face them alone. And you will lose." "My people survived 12,000 years of darkness, Elder. We can survive 12,000 more if we must. But your people have never known true suffering. The Devourers will teach you. It was not a threat. It was simply the truth, and the Council knew it." Part 4. The ultimatum the Council debated for 3 days. Some wanted to accept the human offer immediately. The Devourers were real. The threat was coming. Pride was worthless if everyone was dead. Others refused. They had ruled the galaxy for 12,000 years. They had built an empire of peace and order. To share power with these violent creatures from the quarantine zone was unthinkable. Elder Hannah of the Vel was the loudest voice against alliance. "They are using us," she said. "They show us a monster and offer to protect us from it. This is how conquerors work. They create fear, then offer themselves as the solution. Next they will demand more, then more, until they rule everything." Elder Sora shook her head. I looked into that human's eyes. She was not lying about the Devourers. The fear was real. "Fear of losing," Hana replied. "Not fear for us. They need our ships and our soldiers. They will use us as shields while they save themselves." The argument went around and around. No decision was made. On the 4th day, Jisoo asked to speak again. "I have been patient," she said. "I have answered your questions. I have shown you proof. I have offered fair terms. But I cannot wait forever. My people are watching. They are wondering if I am safe. They are wondering if you are worth saving." Elder Doha made his breaking glass laugh. "Worth saving? You come to our world, one small ship, one small woman, and you speak of saving us. We have 200 warships in orbit. We have armies on 1,000 worlds. What could you possibly do that we cannot do for ourselves?" Jisoo tilted her head. "Would you like to see?" She touched her wrist device. A single beep. Nothing more. For a moment, nothing happened. Then every screen in the chamber lit up. Every communication channel in the homeworld system activated at once. The same image appeared everywhere. The quarantine barrier was falling. The great wall of energy that had kept humanity trapped for 12,000 years flickered and died. And from the darkness behind it came light ships. Not 1 or 2 or 100. Thousands. Tens of thousands. They poured out of the quarantine zone like water from a broken dam. The Council watched in shock. They had expected a few survivors. A small fleet at most. What they saw was an armada larger than anything they had ever imagined. Battleships the size of cities. Carriers that held thousands of smaller craft. Destroyers that moved in perfect formations. And at the center, a ship so large it blocked out the stars behind it. "That is the Soul's Revenge," Jisoo said calmly. "Our flagship. Admiral Junho commands it. He is a good man. Very calm, very patient. But he does not like waiting." The face of Admiral Junho appeared on every screen. He was an older man with gray hair and kind eyes. But there was steel behind those eyes. The steel of someone who had seen too much death to fear anything. "Greetings, Council," he said. "Captain Jisoo has explained our situation. I hope you have listened well. The Devourers are coming. We have perhaps 100 years before they reach this galaxy. 100 years to prepare, to build, to train. 100 years is not very long." Elder Hannah found her voice. "This is a threat. You bring your fleet to intimidate us." Junho shook his head slowly. "No, Elder. This is a demonstration. You called humans a legend, a myth, a story for children. I am showing you that we are real. Every ship you see fought its way to this moment. Every crew member survived trials you cannot imagine. We did not come here to conquer. We came here to offer our hand." He paused. "But I will not lie. If you refuse our hand, we will not stay. We will return to the deep black. We will build our defenses. We will prepare for war. And when the Devourers come, you will face them alone." The screen behind him showed tactical projections. The Devourer fleet. The Council fleet. A simulation of battle. The Council fleet lasted 4 hours. Then it was gone, consumed, every ship destroyed, every world in their path devoured. "Those are our calculations," Junho said. "Yours may be different, but I doubt it." Elder Sora turned to Jisoo. "You planned this from the beginning. The peaceful approach, the lone ship, the chains, all of it was theater." Jisoo nodded. "We needed you to see us first as people, not as monsters, not as enemies. If we had arrived with our full fleet, you would have attacked. Many would have died on both sides. And we cannot afford to lose anyone. Not with what is coming. So instead you made yourself bait," Sora said. "You walked into our hands alone and trusted we would not kill you." "I trusted you would be curious," Jisoo corrected. "Curiosity is why your species survived long enough to build this council. I was counting on it." The council members fell silent. They looked at each other. They looked at the human fleet filling their screens. They looked at the images of the Devourers still hanging in the air like a death sentence. Elder Hannah spoke quietly. "What guarantees do we have? What stops you from taking over once the Devourers are gone?" "Nothing," Jisoo said honestly. "You have only our word. Humans keep their promises when they make them. We promise to fight beside you. We promise to protect your worlds as we protect our own. We promise that when the war is over, we will return to being neighbors. Not masters. Not conquerors. Neighbors. And if we do not believe you?" Jisoo shrugged. "Then we leave. And we all die separately instead of living together." The choice was simple when she said it like that. Elder Sora looked at her fellow council members. One by one, they nodded. Even Hannah, after a long pause, bent her head in agreement. "Very well," Sora said. "We accept your offer. We will form an alliance. Humans will be recognized as equals in the Galactic Council." Jisoo smiled. That warm, gentle smile that hid so much strength. "Thank you," she said. "You will not regret this." On the screens, the human fleet stopped its advance. The weapons powered down. The massive ships hung in space like sleeping giants. They had come to warn. They had come to offer. They had come to demand. And now, finally, they had come home. Part 5. War begins. The alliance was signed on the Bridge of the Soul's Revenge. Admiral Junho and Captain Jisoo stood with all 7 elder species. They pressed their hands and claws and tendrils to the document that would change the galaxy forever. For 3 days, there was celebration. Humans and aliens met for the first time without weapons between them. They shared food and stories and songs. They began to learn each other's languages. They began to trust God. Then the Devourers arrived. They came early. 100 years, Junho had said. He was wrong. The Devourers had been moving faster than anyone knew. They had been hungry. They had smelled the life in this galaxy. They had come to feed. The first wave hit the outer colonies. 3 worlds on the edge of Council space. The distress calls lasted less than 1 hour. Then there was only silence. Junho called the fleet to battle stations. The Council had 1,000 warships. Large and proud and built for order, not war. Their captains had trained for pirates and rebels. They had never faced anything like this. The Devourers came in waves. Millions of bioships, each one a creature as much as a machine. They did not fight like any enemy the Council had seen. They did not hold formations. They did not protect their weak points. They simply attacked. Again and again. Dying by the thousands. Not caring. Behind them came the great ones. Ships the size of moons. Mouths that could swallow entire cruisers. Eyes that could see through any shield. The Council fleet formed a defensive line at the 4th colony world. They fired everything they had. Beams of light and walls of missiles and bombs that could crack planets. The Devourers kept coming. Elder Hannah commanded the Vel forces. She was a good commander. Careful. Smart. She pulled her ships back when the line broke. She saved half her fleet while the others were consumed. But half was not enough. "We are losing," she reported to the Council. Her voice was flat with shock. "They do not stop. They do not fear death. We have killed millions, and they still come." Then, the humans arrived. Admiral Junho's fleet dropped out of space behind the Devourer swarm. There was no warning. No announcement. One moment the stars were empty. The next moment, 20,000 human ships were there. They did not form defensive lines. They did not wait for orders. They attacked. Human destroyers drove straight into the heart of the Devourer fleet, guns blazing. Human carriers launched wave after wave of small fighters, each one piloted by someone who knew they might die. Human battleships targeted the great ones, the moon-sized monsters, and fired weapons that burned like small suns. Lieutenant Myray was 20 years old. She flew a small attack craft with a crew of 3. When a Devourer ship rammed her vessel and tore open the hull, she did not retreat. She sealed her suit, grabbed her rifle, and fought the creatures hand-to-hand while her ship burned around her. She killed 47 of them before rescue arrived. When they pulled her from the wreckage, she was laughing. "Is that all you have?" She shouted at the stars. "My grandmother fought harder than this." Sergeant Tai Wu led a boarding team onto one of the great ones. His mission was simple. Plant bombs near the heart of the creature. Get out before they blew. The bombs went off early. His escape ship was destroyed. He should have died. 3 days later, search teams found him floating in space. His suit was broken. His air was gone. He had survived by slowing his own heartbeat to nearly nothing. Some kind of human trick that no one else understood. When he woke up, his first words were, "Did we kill it?" They had Commander Yunji captained the destroyer bright morning. When her ship was surrounded by a dozen Devourer vessels, she did not try to fight. She did not try to run. She activated an experimental weapon that no human had ever tested in battle. Her ship created a hole in time. A loop that repeated the same moment forever. 17 Devourer ships flew into that loop and never came out. They were trapped, fighting the same second of battle for eternity. Yunji's ship was destroyed by the feedback. Her crew was lost. But she saved the colony behind her. The council watched from their command center. They saw human ships die by the hundreds. They saw human soldiers fall by the thousands. They saw horrors that would haunt them forever. But they also saw the Devourers fall, where council weapons bounced off living armor, human weapons burned through. Where council tactics failed, human chaos succeeded. Where council soldiers retreated, humans pressed forward with screams of rage and defiance. The battle lasted 3 days. When it ended, the Devourer vanguard was broken. The Great Ones were dead or dying. The swarm was retreating back toward the deep black. Admiral Junho stood on the bridge of his damaged flagship and watched the enemy flee. Elder Sora appeared beside him. Her energy form was dim with exhaustion. She had never seen such destruction. She had never imagined such horror. How? She asked. How can your people do this? How can they face such monsters and not break? Junho thought about the question for a long moment. We break all the time, he said. Every human in this fleet is broken in some way. We carry our scars and our trauma and our pain. But we do not let them stop us. We use them. We turn our breaking into strength. I do not understand, Sora said. You quarantined us because you saw our violence and feared it. You thought we would destroy ourselves. But violence is not a sickness for humans. It is a tool. When we fight each other, yes, we are destructive. But when we fight something else, something that threatens all of us, Junho smiled grimly. Then we become something even we do not fully understand. Sora looked at the broken Devourer fleet, at the human ships still pursuing them into the darkness. You are terrifying, she said. Yes, Junho agreed. We are. But today, we are your terrifying. And that makes all the difference. 1 year later, the galaxy had changed. Human ships patrolled the borders. Human soldiers trained with alien forces. Human engineers rebuilt destroyed worlds. Jisoo Park was promoted to admiral. She commanded the newest human dreadnought, the Indomitable Spirit. The name fit her well. She stood on the bridge and watched the stars. Lieutenant Yanwu, her aide, stood beside her. Do you regret it? Yanwu asked. Coming out of hiding? Joining their war? Jisoo thought about all the humans who had died. All the sacrifices. All the pain. Then she thought about the alliance they had built. The future they had earned. They called us a legend, she said. For 12,000 years, we were alone, forgotten, sealed away like monsters in a cage. And when we finally broke free, what did we find? A galaxy that needed us. She smiled. That same calm, knowing smile she had worn when she first stepped onto the council homeworld. We are not legends anymore, she said. We are family. And family protects each other. Outside, the stars stretched on forever. Billions of worlds. Trillions of lives. All of them now part of the same story. The story of how humanity came home. And how they saved everyone along the way.